Plat. Cool. There we go.
This is no place for children.
Who are you calling a child?
Ready.
Okay. And is this in a Masters game, GM game, Diamond game?
Plat.
Where is this? Plat. Okay.
Incoming.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were doing this on your account, if you'd done what, but there we go. Plat this.
Yeah, it wouldn't go too well if I did this on anything higher.
I think that's likely. Okay, so you got behind basically for free, and you're shooting at their Ashe. Are you shooting at their Ashe because you think your team is still having trouble rotating right now? Or are you shooting against their Ashe because you see your Widow through that wall is fighting her right now? What's your thought process behind shooting at the Ashe right now?
Be a distraction. I wanted her to look at me.
Why do you want her to look at you right now?
So they're not looking at my team.
Okay, because you think your team is rotating here right now, which is what they're doing. I'm asking this not because you're wrong. You are right to be shooting at this Ashe right now. That is correct. I'm asking because I don't want you just full engage all the time. I should always be a distraction because it's really important that we're distractions at the right moment. But okay, that's fine.
At the right moment?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the right moment. This is a good moment. I don't know why you swap targets so much here, but okay. This is less interesting to me. I look at this. This Ashe is a good target to distract because this Ashe has a sightline on your team, and this Ashe is being challenged by your Widow. Two great reasons to distract her. I'm golden, happy with this. Who exactly is this Junkrat dealing with right now? If you distract this Junkrat, maybe you're just breaking the trap. But like generally speaking, if you distract this Junkrat, this Lucio right now, is that helping your team?
No.
Right, it's just increasing the likelihood that you get chipped, and if you get chipped, you're either going to be able to engage less hard when your team is ready, or you're going to be out getting health packs and potentially not ready when your team is ready. So like, shots at Ashe, very good. Because of the timing, not because of the hero. Shots at Junkrat, or maybe just the trap right now, less good. Trying to boop him in right now, even if you'd booped him in successfully, which I think you were trying to do here, maybe your team's ready to fight him, but they sure don't look it to me. You see what I mean here?
Right.
Okay. Interesting pile drive. Okay, and then you made a so I don't love this pile drive, obviously, and then I really don't want to retreat towards my team. And I think I sent you this in a blurb of text, but why don't I want you to retreat towards your team?
It'll just mean that they'll take basically all the fire once I get out. Right? I'm just directing their I don't know, crosshairs onto my team.
Sure, you're pulling their crosshairs towards your team, but you're also making it so it's either going to take you longer to get back in, or if you come back in from the direction of your team, you'll take chip damage that was originally meant, for your team, that sort of thing. I want you to leave over this way and maybe get this mega and then come back, or leave back this way and get packs and come back, or, maybe come back through here, because I want when you come in, you to not take 200 damage on your way in, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool. And I don't need Anna to heal you. Like, I don't care. You went and got the health back, and that's correct, but we can get just as easily get health back that's away from our team. Okay? Okay. So you tell me, is this a push? Is there a push happening right now?
I thought so, but after looking at it, not really. It's just me and Deepa.
It's hard to know. Like, your Anna seems to think something's going on. Your D.Va seems to think something's going on. Genji's like, hey, I'll poke at this. This isn't very committal from your Genji. And your Zen's like, what are you guys up to? And your Widow's like, I mean, sure. So this isn't really a full committal dive. And it never really could have been a full committal dive. This is just a little baby trade for space, sort of loosen up the other team, knock them around a bit, soften them up type thing. And you can do that. You'll notice what I did when I showed you the stat banana before we started here. I wasn't suggesting that the ball and the tracer dive that Orisa, Brig, Sigma, nest hard, right? I was suggesting that they sort of poke them from the outside.
Okay, so it's more about controlling an angle instead of like actually committing right now.
Until you're actually ready to commit. And,
Okay.
is your Zen ready to commit? Is your Widow ready
Yeah.
to commit? You need either to soften them up enough, or you need to have, such strong angle control. You need to do enough that the dive is going to be successful. That's a combination of them being low on resources and you having them surrounded or them being isolated, those sorts of things. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so maybe I'm willing to go for a pile drive here because I think the fight is more than 10 seconds away. Now, I'm not willing to go for a pile drive because it's going to get you trapped, and that happens when Junkrats are around. And now you're going to have to pop your adaptive shield. And now you're going to leave. And that's okay. That wasn't the end of the world or anything, as long as you don't lose teammates here. Okay, sure. Great. And this worked out okay. And this sort of illustrates what we were looking for of this didn't have to be a hard commit, and it wasn't. It sort of became a little harder of a commit than I'd have liked because you pile drived and adaptive shielded here, and I'd have probably just wanted the pile drive, not the adaptive shield. You had to adaptive shield here. Don't get me wrong, you got caught in the Junkrat trap, but this is sort of what we're thinking of. It's okay to be like, hey, I'm grinding out a win here. This wasn't some coordinated hard dive. This was more of a soft dive, more of a boop them around type thing, and it continued into... This definitely isn't a hard dive. This is just you continuing to soften up this team in a way at a time that potentially it makes sense. Okay, your Diva's fighting right now. Your Widow is fighting right now. Maybe you can get a quick elimination here and get out, sure. But in no way are you stuck in this fight, right?
Right.
Okay. And then, oh, this Junkrat? Okay, maybe that's juicy enough to go for. Guess not. Okay, there you go. I'm not still fighting this hog. Like, I look at this and go, hey, we just got 2. Maybe we can hard beat this team right now, but I don't know. I'm looking at this and going, hey, especially after you take some damage here, I'm interested in leaving, not continuing to fight. Go. So that's a little unfortunate. We'd have liked this to be a bigger win because there's very little reason that this shouldn't have been a win at this point. You sit here and take too much damage, and Diva doesn't figure out that she should just leave, and maybe you've baited Diva into being here, or maybe Diva just got trapped. I don't know. But what we're looking for is sort of these hidden run tactics, especially when you have, a strong poke like the Widow that you have here. You're sort of looking for these hidden run tactics until you feel you have enough of an advantage, which you're now not going to maintain. But that's okay. Okay. I'm like skeptical that worked, to be quite honest. Like, he has no business chasing you up here. This is just Ball's playground, but... Oh, he did actually get knocked from that. Wow. Okay. Plat, I guess.
Clear impact area.
I guess I'm just used to how well known it is that you can't chase Ball back there. But that's okay. Okay, so you dealt with Reinhardt over here. This happened. And now, what's the status of this battle? Is this a battle that you guys are ready to close out an advantage on? Is this a battle that you are helping your team get into? What is your thought process going on right now?
Thought we had the tempo here.
Okay.
Because the Rhyme was just kind of fresh out of the fight.
Sure, sure. No one on your team has gone down recently. Your team is relatively close. Sure.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay, you gotta get better at this maneuver. This is a maneuver. It happens. Obviously, you'd do this maneuver and you'd pile drive if you could. That's what you did last time. But this is just a maneuver that balls do because pile drive isn't up as often as grapple is, where you just unball at this point and you'll continue to drift through the air as you sort of shoot people from above as you fall. Like, you have to be able to get your falling damage.
Okay.
It can't be I'll wait, I'll reload, I'll do this. Okay, like, this can't really happen. You had to be going, hey, I hit my grapple, I did my swing around, and as I'm falling, I'm trying to shoot people, for headshots as I sort of fall down here type thing. That's okay. I don't have much yeah, you're way more interested in fighting this than I am. So, like, you did this already. There's really not much point in going into this fight. Obviously, you'd expected your reload to have clicked in by now, and it hasn't, so that's part of the problem. But you've got, like, no abilities to fight right now. You don't have pile drive, and you don't have any remaining shield. Well, you have a tiny bit of remaining shield. Is there much point in fighting these guys right now?
Oh, really?
Right. So, like, honestly, I'm perfectly happy over here shooting these guys from over here, just camping an angle and being like, nope, it's an angle. You going up into the middle of this is sort of giving them a chance to fight you pretty hard, and you don't have the power left to take anyone down, even if you had a full clip, do you?
No.
Yeah. So I don't really like this one. If you had your adaptive shield, that would be different. Like, oh hey, I went and used pile drive over here, whatever, didn't end up having to use adaptive shield. Now I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to swing, and maybe I'm going to use adaptive shield while I'm shooting over here, and now I'm in the middle of you guys, and I don't mind you fighting me while I have adaptive shield going while my team is taking out Ash. Sure, fine. But right now, I'd rather just sort of conservatively go, pew, 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 please pay some attention to me over here so that you're not looking at my team. Being in here, you just get too much focus on you for not actually being able to do enough, if that makes sense. Like here, you'll get a little less focus, but you'll save way more of your life, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Administered. Top speed.
Did you get a nano because you were in bad shape, or did you get a nano because they missed a Genji?
Let's find out.
You're powered up. Get in
Nope.
there.
You got a nano because they were worried about you.
Okay.
You're powered up.
You
Get
weren't in
there.
particularly bad shape yet either. That's kind of unfortunate. And obviously you can't do anything with this. You just don't have any power right now. Sure. Okay. Obviously, we have no interest in being in this fight. It's not a great adaptive shield. It's a huge cooldown that we've spent here, but you don't have any armor, so I'm going to live with it because we don't want to get 1 or 2 shot by him by the suck. Okay. And your hitbox, obviously, is huge. Okay? No.
Objective.
What are you interested in doing right now?
Poking?
Maybe. Your poke isn't actually that powerful. Your poke is really more useful as a distraction to be making the opponents think about an additional angle, right? Like, you're not actually eliminating anyone with your poke. In fact, it's pretty hard even for you to force cooldowns with your poke, right?
Okay.
So your poke is mostly a respect my angle. That's mostly what it is. So if I'm going to hammer angles here, what are you interested in doing? I don't think there's any staggers to be gotten. Maybe there are staggers to be gotten, but it looks to me like these guys are actually pretty okay. I mean, we can see through walls. There's 4 of
Would
them.
I stage for the next fight?
You'd stage for the next fight. So where do you want to
Okay.
go?
Optimally, like that high ground spot. Like the
Sure.
balcony type thing? Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily do a swing through, get yourself up to balcony, be like, oh, no one's up here? Cool. Okay, now I've got this to work with. Or, you could force your way through over here and be like, nope, I'm going to go do this. Like, I actually do think we're going to get staggers, so I'm going to send myself back through here, and I'm going to be back here, and I can knock you guys back in as you try to retreat type thing, or knock you guys back in when we're ready to engage type thing. But yeah, you'd be setting up for the next fight. Not trying to hard engage on an Anna, that it's really hard to 1v1 an Anna who's ready for you. Like, that's, like you're trying to force a 1v1 against an Anna, and sure, you might be able to beat her, you might be able to out-mechanic her. Not from this height, she'll have forever to run away, even if she hadn't hit you with the sleep dart. But, like, if we're going to get an Anna, it's generally going to be a case of she doesn't know we're here. We tether, hit a roll through on her, knock her back a little bit, wind up, use the weapon a little bit, and then we finish her off again with a tether. Or a case of she doesn't know we're here, so we tether, we do a roll through to knock her back, come up a little bit because we tethered with an angle, then we hit a pile drive, then we sort of finish her as she's falling. It's very rare that we're going to be able to solo an Anna by just pile driving without hitting them, without having hit them with a tether. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Objective A captured.
Goodbye. Okay. We will be collecting health packs for the next 20 seconds. Sure, this is a legit move. It's not an amazing move for your team, but it's a legit move. Obviously, your team likes that sort of move more if they're a more brawl-heavy composition, right? Like if they have their own Reinhardt, or if they have their own Reaper, that sort of thing. You sort of brought a brawl hero close to your Zen, Genji, Widow, Anna. Maybe not exactly what we want to do, but that's okay. It's still legit because it forces him, it separated him from his team, it separated him from his healing. It's just not exactly the move you're looking to do, and obviously it puts you back with your team, which is not where we want you to be, right?
Right, that makes sense.
Leave, just leave. Where's the battle happening right now?
Behind me.
I'd argue the only battle that's happening right now is you. You were the only battle that is happening right now. But yes, the point that you're referring to is
okay.
this is where the battle would be happening. You're not actually behind the battle. You're in the middle of the battle right now. So let's just keep on going. We're not going to unball and fight here. We're just going to keep on going. Even if we want to take advantage of this adaptive shield and use this adaptive shield to allow us to fight a little bit harder, we still want to do it rarely from in the middle of the fight. We still want to get outside of the fight and maybe just not stay very far outside of the fight when we have that adaptive shield to spend.
Okay.
Oh no, your team. No, I don't want to go to your team. You can't make me. You can't make me. There's a health pack I can grab in here. There's a health pack I can grab in here. And then I can threaten the team from over here or from over here. And it's so much better. Okay. Yep, that's a Junkrat trap. Those seem to be your best friend this game.
Navigating.
Securing the safe zone.
Top speed reached.
That's going to be a no from me. So, what don't I like here?
After revived.
Well, I'm kind of just like charging straight at them. Without,
Right. Right. And
without
maybe...
staging.
Right, you haven't staged this at all, you're charging right at them, you're potentially going to take damage that was meant for your team. Maybe you're thinking, hey, they're too close, they're walking at my team and I need to knock them back. That's a sort of legitimate ball thing. You'll see this more often in ball comps versus talon dive comps versus six-man comps, where the ball will actually stage behind their team, and the ball will then roll through as the six-man comp tries to dive their team to knock them all back as they're using their movement abilities. Like, you'll see that happen as a peel maneuver against a team that's brawlier than the ball comps team. Doesn't work as well into Reinhardt comps because Reinhardt can pin you, right? And we don't like that. But
Yeah, that
also,
makes sense.
yeah, but also, it's generally not the strongest thing in the world. Like, these guys haven't used mobilities. You're at least using your roll through as an answer to other people using mobility. Here, we would be much happier peeling by applying damage from over here. By applying damage from over here. by applying damage from up here, by applying damage from over here. And all of these things would probably make this team worse at pushing in than us just hitting a roll through here, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Activating
Okay,
shield.
and now you have to use it. Okay? Cool. Works for me. So why did that work even when I was kind of meh on your roll through? You tell me.
Top
My
speed.
team were ready.
Yeah, exactly. You look at this, your team is ready, especially your diva is ready, but you do this, your team is ready to go in, and your widow hits a shot, your team is in a place where they can do this, your diva's got this, your widow's got this, you guys have angles. You're not contributing really to your team has angles, now you're contributing to your team having angles. And, you know,
Yeah.
back here, you're contributing to your team having angles. But hey. Where should you be? Where should you... Okay. I mean, we could be talking about this tech. This tech is all the rage right now of how you can sort of use stairs to roll through to get fireball speed without using a tether, but that's advanced. We won't talk about that.
Oh, you can. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to practice that. That's cool.
I don't know if it'll last or not. It might get patched, it might not, but...
Payload has reached the checkpoint.
You don't actually get the fireball where you do damage, but you get going, you know, much faster than you can get with just normal rolls.
And you saved the tether, so.
What's that?
And you saved the tether. So
Exactly.
that could be big, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So you're here. You go here. And you commit your adaptive shield. And okay, your team is sort of ready for this. You guys got the checkpoint, whatever. I can live with this, I suppose. It's not like amazing, but I can live with it. Yeah. So this is why it wasn't amazing. And you tell me, why wasn't this amazing?
I didn't plan it out. I
Right.
just kind of got greedy.
You just kind of went, oh, I want to slam this. Okay, well, what's the
Yeah.
slam going to get you? How are you going to leave? Is your team in a position to really take advantage of the slam? And after the slam, again, where are you going to go? Are you going to go live back here? It's going to be hard to live back here after you've slammed and taken a bunch of damage, even if you don't get eliminated. I probably was actually pretty just happy living up here and sort of being like, nah, I'll let you guys know that I'm up here, whatever, as my team continues to advance, continues to take more space. And if you try to walk past me into my team, well, sure, I'll threaten your backline, or I'll boop your backline further back so your front line's alone, something like that. But okay. This front line hadn't really advanced yet.
Rolling out.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay, so that just takes a little practice.
Is required.
Okay. So how would you adjust this tether or adjust your movement to get up there? Because you can definitely get up there, and we know what you want to do. You want to get up there so you can fight the Genji, so how do you adjust this?
I could do like where I roll under and then grapple up and do kind of like a 180 thing and
Yeah.
come back to the Genji.
Yeah, you can go just cut in a little bit more here, and it's pretty easy to get up here. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't have to roll over here to do anything. Like, that would be super easy, but you don't have to do that. You can do not even fancy footwork, but, you know, moderately not basic footwork of, okay, we tether, and we sort of cut in a little bit and cut out, and that pops us up. There you
This
go.
might seem odd, but like, how would you recommend that I try to practice those? Just like go around in a private match and just
Yeah.
roll around? Okay.
I do recommend you just sort of practice those. I don't have the special custom ball training map for doing these things, unfortunately.
Okay.
You can turn down the tether cooldown, but make sure you're conscious that you turn down the tether cooldown if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Sure. I don't need you to protect your backline. I don't need you to do this either. So where do I want you to go instead?
Landing.
Behind them.
No one can hide.
Behind them could
from
work.
my
How are you going to get
sight.
there? You're going to just sort of skyball through to get yourself over here? Are you going to
No, take
go this way?
the off angle.
Okay.
Yeah, the left passage. Okay.
Works for me.
Powering
Okay. You're adaptive shielded and fighting from the same direction as your team. I hate it.
denied.
Okay.
Mode engaged.
Mechanical. Okay, except, are you behind their team or in the middle of their team?
Now I'm in the middle.
Do you want to be in the middle of their team?
Nope.
So who should you be fighting right now?
The Lucio.
Okay, if you fight the Lucio, what happens to you? Maybe
I
nothing.
would get melted.
You get melted from
Like if
behind.
they came back, yeah.
Right, right. So I don't particularly like this because I think these guys are too close to being back, but I'm actually pretty happy to, like, you can go, hey, I'm just gonna zoom on through here and try to fight these guys out too far away from these guys. Like, that could be an option. If you leave right now, which it looks like you are, that's potentially viable. This tracer is alarmingly close, but probably low on blinks. The other option, of course, becomes, and you're going, hey, you want to knock these guys out. You have a minefield that is confusing me because obviously the mines look blue, but they're yours. You have a self-destruct that's going on. Yeah, if you want to go over here right now, that's potentially fine, and you potentially go, hey, I want to try and knock people into the minefield into the self-destruct. You're not really going to have a great way to do that with any of these. You can leave and get over here right now. But if you took this route, which you did, you sort of need to go, okay, I'm going to go play in a place either out of their line of sight, or I'm going to actually go deeper still and sort of battle them and not let them back in type thing. Those are sort of your options. And you're doing this, which is fine. Okay. I don't really know that I can recommend this to you.
All systems checked out.
Like, yes, you've got your diva with you. Yes, they're in here and this is annoying, but, like, can you fight Roadhog in here?
Realistically.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that you haven't practiced to the point where you can just roll into this wall to bounce to pile drive him either, can you?
No, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, so that's a more important tech. That's actually an important tech where you just roll into a flat wall like this, and you pull back right as you hit it, right as you roll into it, and it causes you to jump a little higher than normal, and because you jump a little bit higher than normal...
Do you jump when you hit the wall like normal jump?
You do. You sort of jump right as you hit the wall, but you also sort of pull back right as you hit the wall, and it sends you up a little bit higher. You
Pull
can...
back your camera or
No,
just
like
hold,
actually
like,
press
S
your
key?
back button like S key, or you can go into the wall, and right as you go into the wall, you can spin it. You can spin your camera, and then you didn't use S key. Take your pick. You can do it either way. But it sort of needs to be this perfect timing of between hit the wall, jump, and pulling back from the wall to sort of cause you to ride up the wall a little, but still get your jump, which sends you a little higher than the other. If you jump too early, well, obviously you don't ride up the wall. If you ride up the wall too much, well, now you can't jump. So there's sort of this perfect timing that you practice, that you get the feel for, that lets you pile drive when hitting a flat wall like this, which if you're going to battle people inside like this, you're going to kind of need, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, it wouldn't really help you a ton here because, like, you and Diva, okay, containing Hog's movement a little bit might help Diva deal with him, but generally if you're going to fight people inside like this, you sort of need that because you're not, like, okay, you could hop up on this and then try to hop off and hit stuff, but yeah, it's just messy. Okay, not a big deal. Now wait. Let's just not do this. Cool. Sure. I mean, if you want. I don't have a ton of need to get in his face here because I'm pretty darn confident that I've got teammates over here that are shooting him, but you decide to do this, which is fine.
Payload
And your teammates aren't shooting at him. So hey, you win.
Yeah, I couldn't really trust him.
Cool. I don't really want to play a fight with Soldier here. He's shooting your team. I guess you could shoot at him, but at the instant he looks at me, I'm not battling him anymore. I'm breaking line of sight with the carts. Okay. Cool.
My ultimate is charged.
Down.
Okay. So this gets back to our timing question. If you're just going for maximum uptime ball, this sort of makes sense. If you're thinking, no, this is based on my team has an opportunity, I'm doing something for my team, either I'm helping my Genji leave or I'm helping these guys come in, maybe it makes sense. What are you trying to do here?
Anything.
Anything.
I
Okay.
just felt like it would get some sort of value.
Okay. I'd like us to know what we're trying to get, because I don't want us to fall into the must be always doing something ball trap, because the must be always doing
Yeah.
something ball trap means you're not ready to do something when it's important. But there are
Gotcha.
valid answers right now for why you feel it's necessary to go in. Uh-oh. This is not the play. I don't like this.
Ooh. I don't either.
Like, you're set up well. You've got a small amount of space to play with. This isn't a ton amount of space to play with. But, you know, they're probably going to let you. They're probably going to let you hang out back here. And if they really do turn to go chase you out, you'll be like, I don't like that. And you'll just rocket yourself across and go play over here, whatever. But, like, I don't want to leave right now. Like, this team is paying no attention to you. You're not going to get an elimination by leaving right now. You're not going to, like, knock Tracer into here for your team to shoot or anything. Like, I'm just going to stay right here. Nor are you helping your team leave. Your team is already out. So this looks like the trying to always do something Hammond, and the trying to always do something Hammond
Engaging.
isn't ready to hit strong engages when they matter. The trying to always do something Hammond gets pre-discorded by Zen. So you just won that duel, but you would have won that duel with like another 250 HP if you'd come at that Zen from a different direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go.
Yikes.
Okay. We're trying to break this habit before it sets in too hard. The always got to be using abilities, always got to be doing stuff habit. Like, again, if you're just doing the roll through because you decide, I want to get through, I want to be over here again, that's fine. But we're certainly not committing pile drive for that. Now we've used adaptive shield to get here.
So it's only worth being a distraction if my team are ready to, like, utilize it, basically.
Right. Does your team need help
makes
getting
sense.
out? Does your team need help rotating through what would be a kill box or a, soft dive spot or something that's particularly hard to walk through? Is your team engaging? Like, there's absolutely reasons to engage the team that aren't, this is a whole commit. Do you see someone who's isolated, like Anna's isolated and she just used her nade offensively, and you go, nah, the other team is trying to push up against my team who's leaving, and my team will be fine getting out, but the Anna just used the nade, and I'm going to go eliminate the Anna. That could be totally fine. But generally speaking, you're not just always uptime. Either you're relieving pressure on your team, you're going in hard with your team, or you actually see an opening to get an elimination, which is a combination of a position and some other mistake. So they're isolated positioning, and they're missing health that they used to cool down or something like that. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Status moving.
Because right now you just use pile drive, adaptive shield, and you've got adaptive shield and pile drive back now. But you used both of those plus minefield for basically nothing. Like, there wasn't really a fight going on. You've been doing it long enough that now the fight has started, but now the fight has started, and what did your minefield accomplish, right? That minefield was to keep
That's
yourself... Yeah. Sure, you can stay on that if you want. I'm a little surprised that wasn't a fireball to finish, given your ammo status, but not a big deal. Cool. Defense Hammond, okay.
Yeah, probably not the best idea in
No, it's
anything
fine.
serious, right?
It's fine.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I'm not claiming that your teammates aren't going to object and go, we want to, something stable, all that, but you can make it work. You can grind down a team with multiple angles. You can hit hard dives the same way you might if you were playing Monkey. Like, there's absolutely ways that a Hammond comp can legit hold this.
Defend objective A.
I need on my way.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Oh, boy. Are you thinking you're going to sneak up behind them and you're then surprised that the Zen is hanging back? Or what's the play here? What's the plan here?
Yeah, that was the play, and
Okay.
then I'm like, oh, a free Zen.
Well, it's
Yay.
sort of a free Zen, except they've already got a couple orbs charged. I probably want to let those orbs get used or canceled before I actually commit on this, right?
That's a good idea.
Okay.
I should have done
Okay.
that.
I mean, fortunately he misses, but
Yeah, I can't count on that.
yeah.
System restored.
I don't want you here. I don't want you here at all. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Being a doofus.
Diva basically never wants you to reinforce her position. When you guys are playing together like this, like Diva's position or Sigma's position might be reinforced by, hey, they have a Brig and a Zen with them, or they have a Brig and an Ana with them, or Diva's got a Hanzo with them, or Sigma's got an Ashe with them, something like that. You're basically never going to reinforce Diva's position, except for that one thing against 6-man that we sort of talked about if you're hitting a roll through when your team is getting pushed. But basically, she wants you to go take a different angle. She'll be okay. She has her own boosters to leave with. She has DM to buy time to get to her boosters if she absolutely has to. And your poke damage isn't really meaningful. Like, your poke damage is just meaningful enough to say, respect my angle. Like, this isn't really helping.
Yeah. It's not.
Okay. And leave. Oh, that's a new one. Probably a little too hopeful. I mean, obviously we get what you're trying to do there. This probably isn't a pile drive. This is probably just an unball and shoot because you're so high in the sky here. It's not how we stagger people. Okay. That's not really a retreat path. I mean, we just forced our own adaptive shield here. Like, this was... Okay, sure, you're looking for staggers. They're not to be had. I mean, our out path is right here through the mega, right? Okay. And, like, they don't really want to push this way, so if they chase you this way, no big deal. You have things like a soldier up here that get to punish them. Usually you'd have your diva up there, so you don't worry too much if they chase you this way. If they go this way, cool. You're now set up out here, and you get to shoot them from behind and do all that good stuff, and we like that. forced your own adaptive shield. Diva's gonna get herself walled again. I don't mind this. This doesn't particularly bother me. But usually when I'm playing with a Winston like this, I'm pretty happy to force his bubble and leave type thing. Like his bubble, he's basically worthless now, right?
Okay. So no point in like trying to just force damage.
I mean, damage is like, it's not like damage is bad or anything, but I don't need to stay in here, especially when there's this, where there's heals. Like, I'm not going to let him in if he's trying to fight me, but usually I'm going to be like, hey, I maybe forced your bubble, and now I'll just roll away a bit. And I'm pretty chill out here. Like, I'm perfectly chill out here, or I'm perfectly chill going and doing something else, whatever else I want, because it's a 13-second cooldown, and it doesn't even cost you anything to leave now, right? Like, you could tether away if you want, which is a 4-second cooldown, but you can also just ball and leave, and he can't really do anything, right? So
Okay,
this is
that
one of
makes
those
sense.
things where I'd have considered this. Nope, got value. Now I'm going to leave. If he walks out of his bubble, oh, okay, I'll unball again and shoot you. Sure, I'm absolutely willing to do that. But I don't really need to tank trade with him further than this, especially if he's getting heals. I mean, you were too, don't get me wrong, so it's not a bad thing.
Area denied.
Brute forcing this a bit. Yeah, this isn't really a good fight that you take here. This is just you have aim that can handle this from having played Diva. Or yeah, sure, whatever, I don't mind this, no problem. But again, we're pretty happy to take our value and get out. So now we're looking at this, we're fighting the Winston. Oh, there's a Zen that's charging orbs in my face. I'm probably done. No health back to be had. I'm going to fight two people with half health. Like, yeah, the Zen's low, though I don't think you were the one who did that damage. Maybe I'm mistaken. But, like, I look at this and go, do I really want to fight these two people with less than half health? Like, a Zen that's really at your mechanical level, you're already eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, like, I'm just not challenging this with 200 health. I'm probably not challenging the two of them with 400 health. I already got my value. We forced his bubble back there. We got the Ana eliminated. I'm perfectly happy to leave unless my team is in here brawling with me. You know, if this is some real dive, sure. But is this in any way a real dive?
Not really.
Yeah.
Like, not at all, actually.
Yeah. This is you battling for eliminations. This is you battling for lane control, whatever you want to call it. But this isn't a real committal. Okay, cool. Sure. Okay. So, I totally get it. You can't win anymore, right? Like, you look at this, he's got friends here. Sure, this is all happening. You can't actually win by melee spamming the Reinhardt. Like, it's not actually going to... He's got to be weaker than this before melee spam makes sense. This is the second or third time we've seen this, and I don't really like this one.
Too shallow every time.
It's too shallow, but also, like, you're pile driving from up here, they have all the reaction time in the world. Just do your thing across, and you'll continue your momentum if you unball in the air, and you can be shooting people as you continue to sort of surf across to this side here, and then go back into ball if you want. Like, get that maneuver down.
Oh, so like, while I was in the air, I could have switched to non-ball, shoot at them, then roll across, then pile drive, and then like I probably could have killed one of them.
You got it. You got it. I mean, do I want these people to leave right now?
Not really.
Yeah, yeah. I was pretty happy with them playing, you know, down this lane that they were never going to take from us. All scooted together here. Okay, we're going to go around the outside, or we're going to deal with her, sure. Okay. Way too high. And put you in a place where that, I mean,
Would you
he's
say
not...
that in general it's good to shorten the distance you fall with the pile drive thing?
To shorten the distance you fall. Do
L-
you mean, like, go ahead.
Go lower to the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to pile drive, you know, you don't want to pile drive so low that, like, you know, Reinhardt can pin you while you're pile driving type thing. You want Anna to actually have to aim up to try to hit a little to try to hit a sleep dart. But yeah, like this extra spin time up here and then drop time, like we don't particularly like that. We'd like to be a little bit closer to the ground for these.
Powering shields.
Taking a little bit of an angle. And now you're going in here like there's staggers to be had, and I'm just sort of skeptical. This isn't good. Like, you'd actually be cleaning up this team a lot more successfully if you were rolling your way through here, and going, hey, I'm going to, you know, like, I'm going to let this team start to push in a little bit, and then I'm going to threaten their Zen in the back. Or then I'm going to roll on through and push them in further type thing. But, okay.
That was better because it was lower, right?
Sorry, that was better for what reason?
60 seconds.
It was a bit lower.
Yes.
Less.
Yes.
Okay.
This was totally fine.
60 seconds.
Tactical buzz area.
Usually you do flip the order, and there's actually a reason for this. Oh, you didn't have it before. Okay, never mind.
Tactical buzz are
Yeah. Could you explain that thing? Like you turn around and then it sucks them into the mines. Like what is that? Like you turn midair. I saw a YouTube video with like one of the ball one tricks, saying that you turn after you mines and then they get sucked towards the center.
Yeah, I'd have to see the one specifically that you're referring to. There was a lot of ball-specific tech that we can really go deep into. Generally, the concept is you want to deploy the mines because the mines have an activation time. So once you activate the mines, they can't actually immediately do damage, and that's what people are generally referring to. So it's not about specific turns unless there's a specific piece of tech that you're referring to. But here, what you generally do is you want to activate the mines because they need a moment to spread out and activate. So what you do is you'd effectively be going, they're activating while you're spinning in the air for your pile drive, because your pile drive has a spin in the air, which is delayed time, and they're activating while these guys are thrown up in the air and can't really move, and then the idea is they're activated as they're landing, as they're coming down by the time they want to move. That's the concept that they're running it. These mines can't do damage yet. Still can't do damage yet. Still can't do damage yet. Still can't quite do damage, and now they can do damage. You see how that sort of works? So you're trying to hide that time that they can't do damage. That's probably what you were hearing about, but I can't know that without knowing the video you were looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was like you turn
Okay.
your camera 180
Mhm.
in the air, and then when you slam, they get sucked towards like the center, like closer to you, and that way like they're in the middle of the mines, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Do you know which ball player it was? I mean, Yeedle does some YouTube stuff.
I think it was Morwith.
Morwith, okay. So here we are.
And like,
60 seconds.
assuming I had
remaining.
mines right there, I would have flipped my camera angle, and then they would have been pulled towards the center of like the pile drive. I
Okay.
think.
I'll look into it. I'll look into it because obviously conceptually pile drive sends people up and then back down, and they might continue with a little bit of momentum in the direction that they were going, but conceptually pile drive doesn't really, and we can watch this pile drive. Like if we look at where these people move,
I've got you in my sights.
It's not like your pile drive knocked them backwards or inwards or anything like
60
that. Like, it
seconds
just sort of is
remaining.
knocking them up or in the direction that they were mostly already going. But okay, I'll go try to find that because I'm curious now.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's like a zillion ball techs, right? Like,
There are
out
a
of
lot
all
of
of
ball
those,
techs.
is it really necessary that I learn all of them right now, or is it more important that I just like focus on the basics?
Well, I mean, the reality is most of Overwatch comes down to, okay, angles and timing. If you can get your engagement
Yeah.
timing right and angles, you're gonna do well at Overwatch. Obviously, yes, there's mechanical things that we have to get down as well, but most of the, have you hit your, triple blink pulse bomb? Have you hit your blink 180 melee? Have you hit, most of that stuff is like, oh, we're trying to get the icing on the cake when you're already at the GM level proficiency. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
System repaired. Full speed.
So that happened.
Scanning for targets.
30 seconds remaining.
Sure. Why do I not want you doing this? Why do I not want you doing this?
Almost got this.
Going back.
Oh, you're gonna go outside, it looks like. Never mind. It's okay. Is this where we wanted to pile drive, even if this Reinhardt was alive?
Nada.
Right, and
Could've been back.
honestly, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just drop a tether here, drop with my tether anchored over on that, roll through these people, and then my tether will pull me back up and then pile drive and just get my up to 150 damage like that. Like, rather than go, I'm just going to come out here and pile drive, I'm like, no. It's way more attractive to send my bungee cord over there and go, wee, swing, and then pile drive and then unball and try to take someone out, right?
That
Like,
makes a lot more sense, yeah.
What you're doing is a very defensive pile drive. It's a very, hey, I need to boop this Reinhardt up, or I just need to boot people up right now to stop them from moving so that my poke core can shred him. And that's not terrible, but there's this juicy backline here that I'm kind of interested in. You circle behind, good.
10 seconds.
Oh, some spin to win. It's fine. Oh, you just messed up there. Came out too early. Okay. So obviously we can go through this. In some ways I cheated because I told you the keys to the kingdom of Overwatch and how to hit GM. You knew them. You've hit GM on other characters before, but that's okay. So what do you think was important from this review? What do you feel like, wait, no, I see flaws in my ball play. This needs to be corrected or this needs to be worked on? Obviously, I won't let you go too far wrong with this, but what do you see?
Timing.
Timing. Okay. What does timing mean? I mean, give me a little bit more there because you could totally get that, and I think you probably do, but give me a little bit more of what timing means.
The time of when I'm going into slam to initiate a fight to distract somebody. I'm too focused on being a always value ball.
Right. And always value makes more sense when your team is a little more poke heavy because you're more likely to create openings for like your widow to get, pick offs on someone that you've knocked into space, etc. But even with poke comps, you want to be aware of, does anyone actually have the ability to threaten right now? Does anyone need your help to get in or to get out right now? That's really what we're looking at. You're going to find you're spending big things like your minefield that was wasted, big things like your adaptive shield that then you don't have, or things like, 200, 300, 400 of your health that then you don't have if you're sort of in this always in mentality. So that would be the biggest thing, I agree. And if you can really get that down with ball and then just go, I'm just going to threaten these guys from a different angle than my team. I'm really going to make a habit of not retreating to my team. You're going to be in good shape. So I'd call those two things. I'd say, hey, let's get our timing right. Let's make sure someone is getting benefit out of you going in when you're going in. And let's really try to sort of stay behind the enemy team, not strictly behind them, but behind them in some way, rather than, we had quite a few re-engages from this direction, didn't we?
Too many.
Yeah, and that would be okay if it's an engage from this direction when the enemy team is rotating here, but we had a lot of engages from this direction, and then we had some engages where it's like, aha, I'm just gonna
So it's not really
leave.
sensible to engage on main, like in general.
Unless main isn't main anymore, right? Like it might make
Unless main is main, gotcha.
right. Like if the enemy team has gone, aha, we're rotating this way. Okay. I mean, is this main if the enemy team has decided to make this their prime rotation back? Okay, probably not. Then
More specifically where they aren't, instead of
right.
just main. Okay.
Right. So that would be the second thing that I'd probably get into there. This, hey, we need to make sure that we've made to make sure that the timing is helpful to everyone. We need to make sure that we're really not engaging. We could say down main, but down the direction that the enemies are on core, that are paying attention towards. We want to come in from a different direction, and we don't want to just leave just because our team is left unless we actually can't sustain in there. If we can sustain in there, get health packs, sustain without spending a ton of expensive abilities like adaptive shield, we would prefer to do that so that we're there when they're ready. Um, and those would be the biggest things. Obviously, I could get a little more into the, hey, you're just sort of ego dueling the Zen a little bit. And we do see some of that going on. And these Zens in about one more skill tier are going to say, nah, I don't think I'm going to let you do that to me, Ball. But, you can either adjust that now or you can let them teach you why you can't do that to them unless they've made a mistake in the next tier. Which is not me saying that you can't jump on Zens and punish them. But if you're going to punish a Zen,
You have to be smarter about it, right?
yes. You don't fight the Zen while he's got a Winston with him. You hit a fireball on him from behind that knocks him, and then you fight him, and then you finish him with another fireball type thing. Or you hit a,
How would you do that? Like you finish with a fireball.
oh,
Like
all the
how
time.
would you gain the momentum after I don't know, like how would you get fireball?
Oh, they start to run from you. Is really what ends up happening. But
Oh,
like what
okay.
happens is you fireball, you stop, you fireball, you hit him with the fireball, you stop and you start shooting at him and he's shooting at you and that's fine whatever. And he's Zen and he's going to start to run away from you because that's what he does. But then if you didn't go, "Hey, my fireball did 50 and my aim did not allow me to do another 150 before I ran out of my clip, or he started, using line of sight, things like this, because, once he starts to get moved a little bit away, he's been moved out of his cover. Your initial fireball probably put him in a bad spot, right? Not like a terrible spot, but like if he was playing here, shooting
Like
at your
bad enough
team,
that he could be killed.
you boop him with a fireball and now he's like here, right? So he's going to adjust to over here
Okay.
or adjust to over here, something like that. And you can go, "Hey, I'm trying to do damage, whatever." Okay, that kind of thing. Oh, you rotated in there? Okay, fine. I can't really waddle follow you in there. So now I'm going to wait the extra second and then tether for a fireball again. And hopefully I'm going to lift myself up a little bit off of it too and pile drive as well. But that sort of thing. And you'll run into it with tracers too, Sombras, Annas that are running away from you, finishing people off with a fireball, starting with a fireball, shooting them, and then finishing with the fireball will find its way into your repertoire pretty quickly, I think. You'll find a lot of people start to run away from you. Soldier would be another example, starts to run away from you, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
And again, it doesn't have to be that. Like, it can be what we talked about before, which is the, hey, Zen's right there. I'm going to tether up. I'm going to roll. I'm going to hit him with the fireball, then start to go up a little. And I won't get a perfect 150. I won't get a 100 damage pile drive. But even if I get a 70 damage pile drive with the 50 damage fireball, it's now much easier to finish him. That sort of thing. Okay. Any questions? Anything else you want to get into here?
Um, Not really. Uh, I've, I asked you that question like very,
Mm.
very early in the beginning about like shot calling, but that might be better for like a session on its own.
Okay. That can be a session on its own. I mean, it also depends a little bit, right? Like, tanks are really good, and main tanks are really good at calling engagement. timings for teams when they want something to be a hard commit. They can be good at calling target focus because that can work pretty well. Obviously, it works well for Orisa. She's doing her halts. It can work reasonably well for Reinhardt in brawl comps because if his damage is on something, getting someone else's damage there can help. But you have to be able to call targets that you're not on too, which requires a little bit of expanding your consciousness of what's going on. It can work for ball. Ball can obviously make sure that pile drive enables big eliminations there. Like, they do pretty good at target calling. They do pretty good at rotation callings. They won't be able to rotation call in this comp. Like, you're on ball. Who's calling rotations in this comp? Because it's certainly not you. It's probably your brig that is calling it for your Zen there because you totally have a brig, but that sort of thing. You're just not. It would be like tracer calling rotations. It doesn't really make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can get into that more. Probably not in this session, though. I think that's a big enough topic that we'll go into it separately.
Sounds good.
Cool. Anything
Awesome.
else there?
Nope. Thank you so much, man. This has been a big help.
Awesome.